Good day everyone! Today is all about the types of qualitative research. This is Mamaika and you're still watching Research Simplified. Qualitative research is the type of research that does not deal with any numbers. You are not going to conduct surveys. No survey questionnaires, no answering of either yes or no, true or false, or like having a set of options. In qualitative research, rather, we choose to use explanations, experiences, stories, and observations in describing our topic and in coming up with our new insights.
Why is that? Because in qualitative research, we believe that not everything may be quantified. Say our experiences, the emotions that we have, and our perceptions or beliefs, these things cannot be measured using numbers. It is only through words or descriptions that we can explain how important these are.
Meaning to say, we don't calculate anything in qualitative research. Our goal is to completely define or to completely explain a certain topic in order for us to fully understand the human mind, behavior, and characteristics, which leads us to the ultimate purpose of qualitative research, and that is to develop a deep and holistic understanding of a phenomenon. Now, since our goal is to get the experiences, the explanations, the perceptions of people, and not just merely count how many people believe in a certain topic, instead of using survey questionnaires, we use interview questions. Open-ended questions or questions that require explanations. Interviews may be conducted in several means. It may be conducted face-to-face or through telephone calls, or video calls or video chats. They may be recorded using pen and paper, or you may use your gadgets in doing so. At this point, let's talk about the strengths of qualitative research. At the foremost, it provides us a very naturalistic setup in understanding the human behavior and the human mind.
Always remember that in qualitative research, we apply the naturalistic approach. This is non-experimental, wherein we simply state our observation or we give details about what really happened in real life in their natural setting. So we don't change anything.
It also elevates the researcher's respect for people's individuality, because here we really get to know our participants, and as we strive to understand their reasons, their stories, we also get to fully understand and respect where they're coming from and why are they different from the others. Therefore, qualitative research also promotes positive societal changes. It gives us a deeper and a better understanding of our differences in behavior, in culture, in beliefs, in practices. Now, as for the weaknesses, qualitative research is very time-consuming. Since the questions are open-ended, we may come up with data overload, which requires long-time analysis. And another thing, qualitative research involves a lot of the researcher's subjectivity in the data analysis. That is because sometimes when we communicate with the people that we are observing, or sometimes if we immerse ourselves in the lives of the people that we are observing, we tend to sympathize with them. And sometimes researchers become very subjective in analyzing their data because of these experiences. Therefore, if our goal is to become a qualitative researcher, then we should always be careful, very mindful of our actions, specifically when it comes to analyzing and interpreting our data. Let us do away from being subjective in giving the analysis of the data that we've gathered. Again, qualitative research makes use of words and pictures instead of numbers in giving data. It is a very good platform for understanding the human mind, their experiences, and their cultures. It also gives us a room to understand, to fully understand and respect the people's individualities. And lastly, as researchers, we have to be very careful in giving our analysis, because sometimes we may tend to fully sympathize or overly sympathize with our participants, leading to subjectivity. At this point, let's talk about the types of qualitative research. These are case study, ethnography, phenomenology, content and discourse analysis, historical analysis, grounded theory, narrative report, biography, and action research. The first type is case study. We write a case study whenever we want to find out the very reasons why certain things or certain cases happen to a person or a group of people or to an organization. And because we want to find out and we want to understand why something happens, then it may take a lot of time.
We have here this example, the lone grade 6 speed reader. Meaning to say, in this example, our focus is to understand how and why this specific grade 6 student is a speed reader. We want to understand his or her case because, again, a case study seeks to find answers to why a certain thing occurs to our subject.
The second type is called ethnography. Now, a lot of people think that since this is called ethnography and that it has the word ethno in the beginning, then it only talks about people who belong to ethnic groups or cultural groups. Although, of course, this type encompasses these types of people, we may also use this type of qualitative research in understanding a certain group of people or organization, specifically if we want to find out their culture. Hence, an ethnography may be about the lives, the beliefs, and the cultures, experiences, and practices of a certain ethnic group, or it may also be about the beliefs, cultures, and practices of, say, call center agents.
For example, the Mangyan's burial practices. Now, obviously, this is ethnography because we are striving to understand the burial practices of the Mangyans. Again, an ethnography involves the study of a group to understand their culture and their organizational setup and their lifestyle.
The next type is phenomenology. Now, we use a phenomenology to understand the lived experiences of people. This is when you want to talk about some memorable experiences or experiences which are not that common. For example, people who are survivors of a typhoon or an earthquake. Using phenomenology, we identify how these experiences affect the people who experience them. So a phenomenology is more of like a storytelling type of qualitative research.
Here's an example, travails of senior citizens at the LRT or MRT stations. Meaning to say, we're going to interview senior citizens and ask them to tell us their experiences in riding these train stations and what these experiences mean to them. Because again, a phenomenology seeks to understand how people find their experiences meaningful.
The fourth type is content and discourse analysis. Now, this has a lot to do with how we use our language in communicating with other people. It may analyze people's modes of communication, such as the use of group chats or emails, and it may also be about a study of social life and how people interact with one another, even their nonverbal communication, the use of symbols and images.
For example, a discourse analysis on the impact of modern technologies on communication. So obviously, this falls under discourse analysis because again, a content or discourse analysis focuses on the mode of communication that people use. We may also study a textbook or journal or say a speech of a person in content and discourse analysis.
The fifth type is called historical analysis. Now, since of course it's about history, then we're going to talk about the past events and how these events affect our present and how they may affect our future. This may involve a careful and thorough understanding of what happened in the past and how these, in one way or another, give changes to what we have in the present and what we're going to have in the future.
For example, the impact of the EDSA revolution. This is obviously a historical analysis because we want to understand how the EDSA revolution made an impact to the present and most probably also in the future. Again, historical analysis examines primary documents as we find the connection between the past events to the present and to the future.
The next type is grounded theory. Now, if you could still remember, one of our purposes for writing a research paper is either to prove, disprove, or build our own theory. Now, if in any case, by the time of your data collection or analysis, and you've discovered a certain theory, then your qualitative research may fall under grounded theory. That is, grounded theory takes place when a new discovery of a certain theory happens or occurs during the time of your data collection and analysis.
Now, in this example, a grounded theory caring of people affected by COVID-19, although from the title we cannot really say what kind of theory was discovered, but then obviously there may be a theory discovered while this researcher is conducting his or her study as regards caring for people who are COVID-19 patients. Again, a grounded theory reveals a discovery of a new theory at the time of data collection and analysis.
Our seventh type is narrative report. Now, a narrative report is simply a narration of what happened in the past. It has nothing to do with how these past events will affect or affects our present and our future, because that falls under historical analysis. When it comes to narrative report, all you have to do is to really describe factually what happened in the past.
For our example, vocabulary building of students through the peer tutorial program. Now, this is an example of a narrative report because in this example, we're just simply explaining what happened in the program, specifically how the peer tutorial program helped improve the vocabulary of struggling students. Again, a narrative report presents events that happened in a logical manner.
Our second to the last type is called biography. Now, biography is simply a study of an individual's life, his or her struggles. It deals with an interesting story which can be found in documents or archival materials, and is very much concerned with the reconstruction of life histories. The last type is, of course, the action research. Now, an action research is a classroom-based, school-based, or an organization-based type of qualitative research which seeks for transformation through the process of taking action to solve a particular problem that occurs in the classroom, in the school, or in the organization. Commonly, this is conducted by teachers to give solutions to improve the academic performances of their students.
For example, the impact of open educational resources or OER to struggling readers in English. Now, this is an action research because we want to understand the impact of OER and at the same time to find solutions to the existing problems probably encountered by teachers who are using OER in their teaching. Again, an action research seeks for transformative changes to solve the problems that we have at the present, and it is usually done in the classroom, in the school, or in an organization.
And that summarizes everything about qualitative research. I hope that by this time you have an idea of the type of research that you're going to write. See you on the next video. Bye!